Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Let's Keep It a Buck podcast, the only podcast in which we do things differently every single time. Yeah. Listen, man, if you're new to this and you want to be true to this, make sure you hit that join button, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I think we don't really talk about the subscribe button often enough. Top 5 buttons in button history. Right after the Staples button, but definitely right before the button on your jacket. So hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. If you're an audio listener, leave a 5-star review. SOLZ, do we have a 5-star review?
Yes, I do. This is from Speedster13563. I've been listening for a while. It's a really good pod. Keep it up. 5-star review. Best pod
Appreciate
out.
that.
Without further ado, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get into the ball.
Yeah, we do. Finally.
The off season is here.
Yeah, this is when we get real creative.
Yeah.
A bunch of viewers.
Yep.
All right, we got our big 3. Motherfuck the big 3. Nigga, it's just big B. Nigga. Boom. We got the Lakers finally making a coaching decision.
Forgot about that shit. Oh my god.
No. There it is.
Stop. No. Let's start Boston. Let Boston win a chip. Open with Boston winning the chip. Yeah.
We're gonna talk about some pandemic P and how his podcast is letting us down these days. Paul George is just an interesting guy, man. But that's why I feel like he's Drake. But nonetheless. And then we have a Michael Jordan conspiracy theory. Should interest you. But I want to start off with the stat of the day. You ready? Stat of the day: Jalen Brown defended Luka Doncic for 154.4 possessions in the finals. Dallas scored 131 points on those possessions. That's an 84.8 offensive rating. Brown was amazing defensively on Luka this series and well deserved as the finals MVP. Just in general, I think he's improved as a defender and a playmaker. Luka faced a lot of great defenders on his trip to the finals, and I'm not sure anyone played him better than Jalen Brown.
I think that's true. I testing it. I don't do stats, but he got his way in Minnesota. He definitely had his way in Denver. Yeah, I'd probably say it's true.
Well, I think Minnesota, they just switched like Rudy onto him like too much.
Yeah, they had Rudy on him too much. They didn't go all in on J-Mac every now and then, but even on those plays, he did what he wanted. Yeah, I probably agree.
I'll say this. I do think, and I've been listening to conversations recently about defense, what is defense, and not because I'm trying to push the WNBA in this specific regards. There may be other regards why I'm doing this. The WNBA and not having super popular superstar megastar player be in the finals has really exposed how much people know basketball. Like it from my perspective, it has. I'm listening to these people talk about the stats on defense and what is defense and what is a blow by and all this stuff like that on the talking head shows and on Twitter and stuff like that. People don't know what they're talking about. I did not know. Even this stat right here, I don't think people know how to interpret what we just read out.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I don't give a shit about defensive stats. I'm gonna be blunt. I don't give a shit. Even if I 100% knew, I do not care about defensive stats. So I'm again off of eye test. Chat brought a Blue Dort. Blue Dort's probably the closest one. I'll say that. But yeah, I think Jalen Brown did well against him. But then again, there's like 4 other great defensive Celtics. So maybe.
But you also watch the game. So
yeah,
like saying, I mean, defensive stats kind of back up what you already see.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're coming in here saying, "Yo, Jalen Brown, best defender on Luka this whole playoffs," just clearly. The stats are going to back that up. I think these people aren't watching or don't know how to watch, and then they're also using these stats incorrectly. It's actually pretty bad.
I just told me Al Horford was clamping up.
Yeah, Al. Nah. Nah.
If Atlanta didn't have a ring because of Al Horford, SOLZ, I swear to God.
That's my own 2 eyes, man.
If Atlanta did not have a ring because of Al Horford.
Damn.
let's transition into America's favorite show, Hot Take or Hot Ass, where we ask you if the take is a hot take or a hot ass take. This is from Sage's guy, Stephen A. Smith. My bad.
Wait, what? What is my guy? You know what? No beef.
Well,
At 17 capital rights, are Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese being used to create race wars? I don't think so, but that's a valid question. If 2 black girls or 2 white girls were going at it, would it be nearly as appealing? I would say no. You could say race, but the reality is that it wasn't really any kind of warfare per se until Caitlin Clark was busting everybody's living you know what and waving their hand and her hand in their face like that, you can't see me, whatever. And then Angel Reese met her in the NCAA tournament and smoked her with LSU, took out Iowa. And that's what made Angel Reese famous to this level. And Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, says the right things, tries to avoid controversies, et cetera, et cetera. Angel Reese is a proud black woman who doesn't run from any noise. And so when you look at that, that's what I think it's about. You can say race. I think it's styles. I think if Caitlin Clark was as outspoken as Angel Reese, their battles, and they played the same position, their battles would be embraced more favorably. But Angel Reese is a forward, Caitlin Clark is a guard. Their style of play is completely different. Caitlin Clark actually plays with more sizzle in her game because she can pull up from the logo. Angel Reese ain't that kind of player, but she's rough and tumble. She can get it done. She's going to have a long career in the WNBA, I believe. And she's going to talk that talk. And she ain't trying to be politically correct and polished to the point where she's afraid of being apolitical in any kind of fashion whatsoever. That's not her thing. And it's the antithesis of a Caitlin Clark. So you could say it's race. I don't think that that's what it's all about, but race always plays a role in something like this to some degree. It's not completely out of the equation. It's always that because America is America. The white population, once 90%, once 80%, once 70%, now reportedly has dipped to 60% and sliding. That's why you got a lot of people in the United States of America right now. Very, very iffy about some of the things that they're seeing because there is a fear that society as we once knew it is evaporating before our eyes, and some people handle that better than others. A lot of people think it's a good thing. A lot of people think it's absolutely awful for this country. That's the way it goes. And if that's the case, and that's what's in existence, it's inescapable. That race is going to play a role because depending on what community you come from, you may not look at this nation as being as bad as some other people view this nation as being right now. That's just my thoughts.
Is race a contributing factor? Are Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark being used to create race wars?
We were talking about the WNBA, and we ended up on the white population's decline. God, y'all don't get tired, bro. I mean, he was set up regardless, but I still think hot ass. But I don't even really want to talk about that. It's just we literally went from Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, race war, yes, no, and why, to the declining white population. I'm just exhausted of the politics and geography studies and human biology studies when we're talking about the WNBA. That's what I'm about, to be honest.
To answer the question from the clip, I don't think it's the only conversation going on because, you know, some people are actually having basketball conversations. They want to keep it basketball. But, I mean, yeah, I feel like people are using the two athletes as jumping boards to talk about, like, their political takes. I feel like that's a pretty fair take, right?
I actually, technically, let me amend my statement because I guess if people are always trying to make the WNBA political, that would somewhat mean I agree with Stephen A. So I guess, but it's so fucking stupid.
I feel like every other day it's on some. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I mean, I think people are using it. I don't even think it's a question if they are You know, they just so happen to be the reason for the season. And really they're holding up the race war until closer to election season, to be quite frank, because when election season rolls around, those people will shift their viewpoints or their talking points or whatever the case may be to whatever the presidents are talking about. It's political, it's politics and sports, but I don't think either of them are knew what was going to happen when they entered the league. You can have an idea, but I don't think either of them knew what was going to happen. And I don't think it's necessarily going to slow down for the foreseeable future. Now, again, maybe in November. It's disgusting that we have to talk about stuff like this, though. Even the hit, the flagrant one from the other day on Caitlin Clark from Angel Reese, people were making jokes about it, but even the joke was the way the joke circulated lets me know that people were ready to go to war about it. And then, of course, people did like take it seriously. And I think they said that. What did Kurt Warner say to that hit? Wasn't he the one that said some dumbass shit?
Yeah, that shit is so dumb, because I understand a lot of us love Caitlin Clark and shit, bro. It's basketball, block, miss, bam, flagrant, move on. God damn.
I think Matt Leinart was like, what kind of coon jigaboo? What is this? This is crazy.
Kurt Warner said that? Isn't Kurt Warner?
No,
that's what I was saying. I was like,
he didn't say all that. But he did say something along the lines of like, yo, she assaulted her. This is the craziest thing I have ever seen in my life. I've never seen somebody get assaulted before on a basketball court.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Kurt Warner. It was Matt
Green. Like,
sorry, Kurt.
Joke Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner is a good. He's a good guy. Angel Reese should be. He said Angel Reese should be suspended. Period. Not good for the game. And this was, in retaliation to the foul.
Yeah. People just getting their shit off. So yeah. I guess by my virtue of, by my standpoint of me being tired and exhausted of these conversations, and then them always being so relevant, that what the answer that Stephen A gave probably is just straight up true. So let me take back my hot ass. It's probably just hot take. It's just, for me, it's just exhausting that we're going to this level just to get our shit off about how we feel about society, bruh. We still aren't talking about this stacked ass class in the WNBA. We're still not talking about it. We're talking about politics again.
Yeah, like what Omar said, I think that was a perfect point in terms of, like, at one point it was the Little Mermaid conversation about them switching the race of the Little Mermaid, and all the timeline was pretended like they really cared about the ethics of the Little Mermaid for 3 weeks. And then it stopped. We moved on to something else. And then when it actually released, the conversations came back up. I think right now this is just the topic of the moment to see. This is what I'm talking about. A couple weeks ago, low-key Assassin's Creed 2. I feel like a lot of the people talking about Assassin's Creed back then don't even play Assassin's Creed. But I don't play Assassin's Creed. That's why I didn't talk about it.
The school is out. They can't even get there. Kids are getting, fucked up in school conversation. Nonetheless, you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of getting radar experience email for every single service that I have. I went to the gas station. I went to a Shell gas station to get gas. I had to pump my own gas. And when I left, I got an email. And they said, rate your experience. Come on, bro. Next hot take, hot ass. This is from NBA Central. The Chicago Bulls have floated 15 different trade proposals centered around Zach LaVine to the Sacramento Kings, Orlando Magic, and Philadelphia 76ers. Per KCJ Hoop. Zach LaVine's future isn't the only trade scenario that has been discussed, even if sources said, I don't know who that is, has floated as many as 15 proposals centered around the two-time All-Star guard to various teams, including the Kings, Orlando Magic, and Philadelphia 76ers. Now, that's not the hot take or hot ass. This is the hot take or hot ass. Jamal Christopher says some team gonna land Zach LaVine and look very smart. Now, is this a hot take or hot ass? I actually disagree. I think some team's gonna land Zach LaVine and look very dumb.
Damn it. You took my take. Yeah, I was going to say, I think the opposite is more to happen. And this genuinely is not disrespect to Zach LaVine. I think someone's just going to put him in a fuck situation or do something that ultimately means nothing. So, like, this is like screams Lakers, low-key. Like, just acquire Zach LaVine to be a second or third star, realize that that's not the role that he should be in, and or realize that your solution isn't more points gang. Like Phoenix might get this nigga, I don't know, and then ain't gonna do shit, and then we're gonna look back at this trade and be like, damn. So what exactly did you give up for Zach LaVine? Depth, draft picks. I'm keeping the depth of draft picks. So yeah, I think someone's gonna fuck up. I don't even think this is about Zach LaVine being a good or bad player. I just think a bad franchise is gonna acquire him and do nothing.
I think we actually all agree, but I am leaning towards more hot take instead of hot ass. Just in terms of, I'm just a believer that every single NBA player that's proven to be productive for a long period of time in the league has a place in the league. You just have to find the right role for them. So, for example, like Kristaps Porzingis, if you are trying to make him your 1 or your 2, that shit is not gonna work. You are not gonna have a lot of success in that. But if you put in that 4 or 5 slot where he doesn't have a crazy offensive responsibility, I think he can succeed in that role compared to the other players in that role. So Zach LaVine, I think he could still be a 3, like a solid third option in the league. 2, it's kind of pushing it. I ain't gonna lie. 1, that's done. But if he can be a third option somewhere, I think he can do that. I still think he can do that.
Well, so I think that this is probably where the crux of my issue comes in. Even at 3,
he is a regressing talent, and that's no hate. It's just damn near just an objective truth. He's
I need to see how good he is on defense, because me and Sage did a tier list earlier, and to not spoil it too much, we were just like looking at Zach LaVine. I'm like, damn, he does look a little bit more one-dimensional than we thought, bro.
Yeah,
and not a facilitator. You know what I'm saying? Not really making the plays for others, and he's making $43 million next year. 46 the year after, and then as a player option for 48. By that time he'll be what, 20? Well, no, he's a 28 now, so like 30, 31. Are we paying? And then are you going to be sitting there looking at, okay, this guy he's probably going to put up close to 20 points, 17, 18, or whatever the case may be, and then you have to be tasked with, yo, are you going to pay him again? I don't know. So I see somebody in the chat saying MPJ type role, potentially, but he's making a lot of money for MPJ type role, right? Because I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is.
And I hate to be an asshole, y'all. He don't shoot like MPJ, so
that's true too.
I like the Philly thing, but my thing with Philly is they have better options instead of Zach LaVine. Like, I'd rather have Paul George in that situation. I'd rather have Jimmy Butler. I've heard that name float around. Zach LaVine would be like my 3rd or 4th option, ironically.
Yeah, what team said one of them Kings? I'm confusion. Yeah, I just don't get the Kings. Magic,
yeah.
I can see maybe, but then what are you trying to do? What's the plan? 2nd option LaVine, maybe 3rd option LaVine, just for the sake, but 3rd option LaVine, but he's really like your go-to damn near 2 in terms of putting the ball in the basket.
Why don't you like the Kings?
I don't think the Kings need another ball dominant scorer, especially one that is kind of on the one-dimensional side of things. I think if the Kings want another scorer, they can go find that, but I also don't think they need another scorer. But if my bad, I fucked up. If the Kings want another scorer, get somebody that does multiple things. I don't think they need just a bucket. You have Keegan Murray, you have De'Aaron Fox, and you have Sabonis. I don't think they need another bucket on the team.
He might be a cool dribble handoff guy. Like, maybe he's unlocked with like a Jokic. And I know I'm saying Jokic as if there's other players like Jokic, but Sabonis is,
Sabonis is as close as you can get.
Yeah. Maybe he would be cool as like a dribble handoff guy. I don't know. I think Zach LaVine offensively has all the talents that you would want from a basketball player. Like, I've been thinking about this today because I've been listening to some podcasts react with the Celtics winning the championship. he has everything that I would potentially want from a basketball player, like skill wise. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can drive to the basket, he can pass the basketball, not like the greatest thing or whatever. To the heights that he does any of those things is questionable, or a number of those things. And then where does that fit is like, it would have to be so specific. And then I'm paying how much money for somebody to be a third option? Like,
if you're a third option, I just remembered Malik Monk on the squad.
So he would be by default on the Kings, he would definitely be a third. He would be an upgrade from Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, but he would be a third option. And then at that point, it's like, are you paying $40 million for a guy to come up off the bench? I'm trying to see how much Jamal Murray make. Jamal Murray don't even make that much, of course. I don't know. I don't know. He's gonna look like an overpaid guy. Well, he kind of already looks like an overpaid guy.
Yeah, someone told me Monk's a free agent in the chat. Fair enough, but then I'm like, pay Malik Monk before you pay $40 million Zach LaVine.
Yeah, I'm not.
You literally can get two Malik Monks at that point. like almost factually, in my opinion. What's the most Malik Monk gonna want?
Now,
30.
The real question is, how many JJ Redicks can you get? Breaking news. This is hot off the Woj presses. I think Sham's bitch ass is even scared to tweet about it. Haven't all day, you loser.
Damn, I thought you didn't like Woj either.
Huh?
I thought you didn't like Woj either.
I don't like neither of these guys. Woj just is a LeBron hater. I can respect, the integrity for the journalism game, but Woj is a LeBron hater. That's why I don't like him. ESPN sources say Jumpin' Jehoshaphat Redick. What does JJ stand for? I'm not calling him JJ anymore.
James Jameson.
Okay, that's not. Jonathan Clay.
Clay?
Yeah. Jonathan Clay Redick. Let me see if he has a middle name besides Clay. No, it's Jonathan Clay JJ Redick. Jonathan Clay Redick has agreed on a 4-year contract to become the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Round of applause, V-Souls. Round of applause.
Woo! Closure.
Rob Pelinka offered a job this morning. Wow, why did he type it like this? Rob Pelinka offered job this morning. And Redick started working on staff to surround himself with experience. Now, fan reaction from this has been through the roof. I mean, people are elated about this. I don't know if y'all know that. People are excited about this whole situation.
They don't have expirings that we have. And the Sixers don't, oh my God! JJ Redick! Oh! He's the Lakers coach! JJ Redick, the Lakers coach! Oh my God! 4-year deal! Oh my God! Yo! Are you fucking serious? They don't have expirings that we have.
DiVincenzo was still better to chat. If you know ball, man, it's cool, man. We got DiVincenzo! Oh!
I made me laugh. I needed that because
the writing was on the wall, but what's your initial reactions? And the reason why I asked that is because other breaking news from the coaching perspective.
Please,
Monty Williams was just fired.
Did you hear about the assistants for the Lakers? They said Rondo, Sam Cassell, Scott Brooks.
So let us know, Sage. How do you feel about the decision that your team has made?
From Rondo to JJ Redick, let me be clear. I'm not saying Rondo nor JJ Redick are bad basketball minds. From what I've heard Damo say on past podcasts, if Damo was here, it would seem like me and him disagree. I don't really disagree with him. He's just more optimistic than I am because I think JJ Redick is actually a brilliant basketball mind. So do I think he's going to be ass? I don't know, but hope not. I think he's going to be better than him. My issue, and I do have an issue with it, is one of at least 3 things. One, why the fuck didn't we just wait or get somebody who is well qualified? Monty got fired yesterday. Get Monty Williams. JB Biggerstaff. I've been heavy on getting JB Biggerstaff there. You have assistant coaches, whether it's the Miami one, I think the Boston one got hired, fair enough. Denver's. You have several options. And you chose the guy that didn't coach ever, or since like middle school or high school. That's such a but and then this goes to 2. They all tie together. It's such a Laker thing to do. It's such a Laker thing to do. Hey, this podcaster and LeBron's teammate, we're gonna bring them both on the staff. Like this is such a LeBron James in LA move, and it's so annoying because even if JJ ends up being a good coach, Rondo ends up being a good coach, it just tells me that this franchise still is stuck in their own deluded ways of we're the Lakers and we're gonna do things the Laker way. You're gonna do things the hype beastie way. Like nobody should be screaming, oh, JJ Redick. That's not supposed to be a thing when you hire a coach, bro. Like it's not supposed to be a thing. And that's what it is. And then 3, it seems like we're not all in. Because if we were all in, we would be looking for like a championship established coach. So it seems like we're preparing to start the rebuild or half-assing it. And the reason why I said or half-assing is because we still have LeBron. So you don't really rebuild while LeBron's on the roster. So it's so fucking annoying, bro. I'm annoyed. JJ could be a good coach, but I'm annoyed right now, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna maintain my take I've had this whole time about JJ in terms of I don't doubt his basketball mind. I actually do think he has the chops to become an assistant coach in the league at the very least. Because I was actually watching his interview with Joe Mazzulla, like at the beginning of the season, and Joe literally said like they were like one situation away from JJ being an assistant coach on the Celtics. So he could have been an assistant coach in the league right now, and the Lakers hypothetically would be hiring a current assistant coach for the head coaching job. I don't think we'd be as critical with JJ if that was the case, but nevertheless, the reality is he wasn't hired, and the reality is he doesn't have much experience going into this job. And from all the reports I did see, I am a little bit more optimistic in terms of the Lakers are talking about him being a long-term solution for the Lakers and not just, all right, this is our coach to get LeBron his 5th ring. So, you know, they're looking for their Eric Spoelstra, their Pat Riley, their Joe Mazzulla, you know, and they think JJ is that guy. But nah, if I'm the Lakers, if I'm Lakers fans, all I hope is JJ doesn't get fired in two to 3 years, because I don't think that would be unfair to him. I ironically would actually like the Pistons job for JJ if he really wanted to get into head coaching right away. But nah, he definitely jumped the line. I think he has the knowledge for it, but I think being a head coach in the NBA, especially for the Lakers, is more than just knowing your X's and O's. It's about managing egos, building connections with your players, and all that shit. And JJ just doesn't have experience on that. Who knows what his rotations are going to look like, timeout management, all of these things that happen on the fly. He just doesn't have enough experience on that matter. He might have the philosophy nailed down, but, you know, those little things are going to add up for this team if they're going to try to get a championship next season. So,
I guess scapegoated.
I believe this is from 2022, where I'm reading this from. Jeff Saturday gets hired as the interim head coach for the Indianapolis Colts.
I remember Jeff. Yep.
Jeff Saturday is the first head coach to be hired to the NFL with no college or professional coaching experience since Norm Van Brocklin of the Minnesota Vikings in 1961.
Oh, man.
This is something that is unique to the NBA. And I could look up baseball, and I could look up hockey, and I could look up college and all this. I could look up all these things. It is a unique experience for the NBA to hire people with no prior coaching experience to be the head coach. Yeah, not a forced upon assistant, not on the video staff, not as a consultant, shooting coach, player development guy. Because Dallas, if you look at Dallas's, I'm talking about the Mavericks. If you look at the Dallas Mavericks coaching staff, they have a lot of player development guys, right? Who are old players. Like Dudley was on there, Michael Finley was on there, Shamgar is on the team, Tyson Chandler, Daryl Armstrong is on there. I'm looking at it right now. There's a lot of people like that. But they're getting experience, which I think is better than just thrusting them in there. I want to read this other thing. This is from Los Angeles Times. Look at how former NBA players before JJ Redick fared when they became first-time head coaches without any previous experience. Does not include player coaches. Steve Nash in Brooklyn, 101-76 record. Derek Fisher in New York, a 40-96 record. Steve Nash in Golden State, 618, 314, or 315. Jason Kidd in Brooklyn, 49-47. Mark Jackson, Golden State, 130, 199, or 119. Vinny Del Negro in Chicago, 86-90. Isaiah Thomas in Indiana, 136, 125. Doc Rivers in Orlando, 176, 178. They should have let him get 2 more games to see if he could get at 500. Larry Bird, Indiana, 190 or 179, 87. Which is I don't know if y'all know the story about that, but no, that's the wrong team. My bad. I'm thinking of the wrong thing. ML Carr in Boston, 48, 116. Quinn Buckner, Dallas, 1369. Magic Johnson for the Lakers, 5-11. Dan Issel for Denver, 106, 108. Dick Van Ardsdale, 14-12, and Paul Silas for the Clippers in 1980, 78, 168. It's just too much evidence that this is not a good idea.
So the best case was Larry Bird, because I think he coached those finals teams, right, in the early 2000s.
Yeah, Larry Bird. What's his name? Steve Kerr, but Steve Kerr had some front office experience, so they didn't count that in there.
Yeah. Hey, we've been saying it's not a good idea on this pod for a minute now. I think the only guy optimistic on it was Damo, which, by the way, shout out to Damo. I hope you get better soon, but I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, I thought you were gonna go a different route when you brought up Jeff Saturday, because what's funny about Jeff Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, is he's often viewed as one of the worst hires in NFL history, like right now. For those that don't watch the NFL, the Colts aren't exactly the best team. They're nothing to brag about. They have a couple of star players over there during this season, but he gets hired halfway through, I want to say, and he wins his first game against Oakland, another really bad poverty franchise. He then proceeds to go 0-7. And I'm talking close 1-point losses to literally getting 60 dropped on him. Jeff Saturday was not by any stretch a good coach. I don't think JJ Redick will be that bad. Hell, he's on a better roster, so I don't think he will have that one-to-one correlation of success. But my God, it's just such a scary thing for this team to do, yet it's the hype beastie thing for this team to do. I'm just tired of the pattern. I feel like I'm gonna hit y'all with some Lakers trauma dump, bro. 2020, our championship year, the narrative prior to actually winning was getting a 3rd star. That narrative was so strong. We then say fuck depth, get 2 6-man of the year guys, and then the following year double down and get Russell Westbrook. Bro, like I'm just tired of seeing this team just continue this cycle, bro. And then we damn near quadruple down with the whole Austin Reeves shit, even though Austin Reeves is a hell of a player. It's, man, so fucking annoying. And anybody that's saying I don't know trauma, go fuck yourself, because I'm telling you, the most frustrating thing in like sports fandom to me is seeing a team shoot itself in the foot. And that's all the Lakers do. I think Bezos can relate to that. Just seeing a team just literally go, oh man, we can win a chip. Bow. Why, bro? Like, why? It's just so fucking annoying.
I think a bunch of teams that are looking for new head coaches, they are looking for like younger coaches, especially with the recent success of the Celtics. I think the Thunder also have a young coach, from my understanding. They're really trying to phase out the Doc Rivers era of coaching. My only thing is, if the Lakers hired JJ because he's the only one with essentially a public resume of knowing how to use analytics, like that's a bad reason to hire someone, in my opinion, because there's probably a bunch of assistant coaches in the league that also use analytics to their coaching philosophy. You just don't know them because they don't have a fucking podcast. Because like y'all, I didn't know who Joe Mazzulla was 2 years ago, but now here he is. So,
and I'm probably gonna be reiterating some of the stuff you said. I want to know what was the thing that got JJ Redick hired. Is it because he appears to have, and I'm not discrediting JJ. I think again, I listened to his podcast, been listening to his podcast for this, so it's not like I don't think that he doesn't know the game of basketball. But what was the thing? Was it his ability to articulate the X's and O's? If I had one question, that's the only thing I would have to ask. I just think it's just so weird. I don't, and it's crazy because it's only head coach. I don't know any other position in the NBA where you can get it with no prior experience. Fuck it, let's just give him the GM keys too. I don't understand why they don't do that. What? And I'm serious. Why don't we just jump
They're
to
gonna keep it in the family there, so that's not gonna happen.
GM? The other weird thing that they do, the NBA does do the player president of basketball coach president of basketball operations or coach GM stuff too, and that's always bad too. These are separate jobs.
yeah.
These are huge jobs. I do want to talk about, because there's other teams making bad coaching decisions.
Monty Williams,
at least from my perspective. Yeah, so the Pistons let go of Montavious P. Williams. They signed him to huge deal. Huge deal. In the recent terms. What was it? Hired by the Detroit Pistons, 6 years, $78.5 million, the largest coaching contract in the NBA history at that time. That was last June. Pistons fire this June. Lakers didn't even sniff in that direction, one, but two, do y'all have thoughts? I definitely have thoughts about this, that firing.
Yeah, I do. One thing, Monty Williams, I can understand why he got fired, because if you think the team checked out, he's checked out, and considering the streak, if you need a change, fine. Me personally, though, I think it's dumb. I don't think the ends justify the means. I think that getting rid of Monty Williams instead of taking a self-evaluation in terms of management and or the players is kind of ridiculous. And I'd even go as far as to say that, hey, man, Pistons fans went from, and Kofi, shout out to Kofi being on that podcast because he would know more than me even. Pistons fans went from, yo, you're not trying anything, to you tried everything. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I mean, damn, the roster ain't good. We laughed about Killian Hayes' performance the whole time, and I've always had the concept that these players, they can be good talents, great talents. If Damo was here, he'd have a fit. But me personally, I don't think that these players are like with each other. I think that half of these players on a different team probably look damn good. I don't think it's a team that plays well together, though. So I think this was just one of them firings that they did for Zibes, for personality, to try to appear to look good, and they ended up looking stupid because it is not. That Monty's a good coach. I will, if that's a hot take to some of you, go for it. Monty Williams is a good, if not great, coach, and that's a troll firing.
Yeah, pride, professionalism aside, though, if I'm Monty, damn, 5 years, $60 million. Now I gotta.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Yeah, and they're gonna eat the cap. Are they just? And that's the worst part. Are they just gonna eat the cap?
I think Milwaukee's doing the same thing with Mike Budenholzer and Doc Rivers. Like there's not Doc Rivers, Adrian Griffin. I think they're still paying those two coaches. But in terms of Monty, man, ironically, if you talk to a lot of Pistons fans, they're not too mad about this firing because they legitimately think Monty's that bad of a coach. Same thing with JB Bickerstaff and Cavs fans, apparently. Like people weren't a fan of him. But I think with this Pistons squad, was last season his first season as a coach?
Yeah, his only season as the coach.
Yeah, no, that's too soon, bro. That's way too soon. I don't even think you gave him a fair shake.
There we go.
The shake. He didn't really get it, bro. I think
shake that more. You didn't even give it a fair one. Come on now, shake it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can
is there anything in there?
Now you can fire. Now you can fire.
I can drink.
Nah, I just think I'm glad though the conversation is shifting a little bit more towards like, yo, let's look at these front offices, because I truly do think they set the tone for a lot of these franchises. We always like to look at the head coach. We always like to look at the players. First it was the players, then it was the head coach. But now we got to give more credit and more blame to these front offices. These front offices are done, bro. A coach can only work with what he's given with. You know what I'm saying? He can have the game plan in mind, but if players aren't executing it, or if he just doesn't have the personnel to execute said game plan, then what the fuck do you want him to do? You know? So
yeah, y'all didn't even give. I mean, y'all gave Killian Hayes 4 years, right? y'all gave Killian Hayes 4 years, and if this is the landscaping, if this is the landscape of NBA coaching and job security, my God, I promise you, I would sit back for a little while until calmer heads prevailed. Didn't even get a draft class, didn't even get an off season, he got a training camp, I guess, but no continuity. And we talked about that. I know B-Souls really harped on that. We talked about that a lot. That was one of the themes of this season. Continuity is breeding these championships. You may not get it year 1 and 2 and 3 or 4 or 5, but 6 or 7 could be your year. And so splitting up the band right there is crazy. And what B-Souls is saying too is another theme that I'm seeing in these sports organizations, especially as I dive deeper into this, because I found this to be interesting. The coaching, if you felt like he wasn't a good coach, fine. Whatever the case may be, opinions are opinions. These are apparently the facts. Vincent Goodwill says, of the Pistons, a source leak told Yahoo Sports recently, there's 4 factions in that building, and getting on the same page should be the first objective. That goes well beyond Troy Weaver and Monty Williams. Lots of work to do in Motown. And the reason why we know that there's some truth to what's being said is because the firing did not come from president of basketball operations, GM. It didn't come from that level. It came from the ownership level. And we've seen that happen in NBA history before, where the owners get so involved with the day-to-day operations of basketball that they start muddying up the waters. Knicks for a long time, right? James Dolan. So I think that there's much more to look at from the ownership perspective, from the front office as a whole perspective. And with that being said, man, what did Detroit get this year in the draft?
5.
Man, you couldn't.
You sucked at losing.
Yeah, I love that point that you made though.
I'm
Outside of the I love the point that you made about him not even getting a second season. Like, for context, and I could see someone saying, so if Monty did that, or if Darvin Ham did that, would you give him another season in LA? Here's the thing. At least we even gave Darvin Ham a chance to revamp the roster to what potentially would fit his needs or criteria for a system. Monty didn't even get that. Then they get hopped onto the job, didn't get a chance to really move but so many assets, because what move did they make? Unless he's supposed to be the coach and GM, which ties into that conversation. So no real moves at the deadline. You didn't give him a chance to draft anybody at 5. You didn't give him the chance to sign any free agents to say, hey, we can let this guy go, that guy go. He doesn't get anything going forth, and we're just going to say, hey, he must be a shit coach because losing record lulls, even though for majority of his career, we've been like, oh, yeah, Monty can coach.
Nigga didn't even get a chance to move. He didn't even get a chance to learn everybody in the building's name. Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure he didn't get a chance to pick the coaching staff.
And he's hooping with rookies and sophomores, dog. They didn't get a chance to get better either. What if Jaden Ivey, or is it Jaden Ivey? Is that it? I confuse him and Hardy all the time. What if fucking Ivy, or what if fucking Duren, or even K just start being a dog next year? What the fuck? Now the next coach is him? No, bro. Like, this is a young team. It's just so crazy to me, man.
This is still on the front office to me, but I do think it was a mistake in the first place for them to even hire Monty. From the perspective of, I think that's a team that would have benefited off of like hiring a new face with new ideologies that's more built for coaching a younger team. Because from my understanding, like you hire Monty Williams after he coached the Phoenix Suns as a veteran head coach, as a coach of, ironically, like the Lakers. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like a team trying to win right now. This is an experienced head coach in the league that has coached playoff teams before, has coached championship contenders before. That's why you hire him for. You don't necessarily hire him for player development at this age, at this point in his head coaching career. So I guess it may have been a point of, all right, fuck it. We're gonna own up to our mistakes. We made the mistake in the first place. We might as well cut it off. Might as well cut him off now instead of waiting 3-4 years. It's still a bad decision to me.
Yeah, I don't think that's it, and I do want to play devil's advocate here because I don't know how hard I am dying. Dying on this stance. I just want to hear your take. I would see somebody arguing that it's a and maybe I am, that it's a good hire though for them in terms of Monty Williams, because you got to remember that Phoenix Suns team was about moving out of poverty. Like the Suns prior to, I want to say, was kind of ass, and then when Monty got there, what was that, 18 or 19? When Monty got there, I'm about to look it up. I
know he was already there by the bubble.
Yeah, definitely by the bubble, and that's when they turned it around. So I want to say, if you're the Pistons, you kind of have a thought process of, okay, this guy has shown, yeah, he pulls up in 2019, actually. They win 34 games in the regular season, then, the bubble shit pops off. Then he went 51, 64, 45, and then, what happens in Detroit. So if I'm a Pistons fan, would I not be excited that a coach like that came there from the standpoint of, if he could turn around a franchise, if anything, he may not be that championship coach, but yeah, at least, get you on time. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the worst take too.
And I'm gonna say to that too, Bezos, if I'm paying you $1 bajillion million for a head coach, right? And you're not a 3-point shooting coach. Now, we knew that going into it. We still paid you $1 bajillion million, but we can own up to it today. We should at least be able to sit down as an organization and say, look, we're giving you $1 bajillion million. Can you at least try to implement more 3-point shooting? Knowing now, of course, you're not going to get Mike D'Antoni levels of offense out of this guy, but let's see if we can work together. It, to me, just cutting ties when you had, I'm looking at the roster now, 31 guys play on your roster this season.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even try.
After 1 year, you didn't try. You didn't try.
Just didn't try. So
if it was year 3, fine. But
and we're gonna get off this, but what? Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, James Wiseman, Asor Thompson, Marcus Sasser, and Jaden Ivey all played over 60 games. We know Marcus Sasser sat on the bench the whole time. James Wiseman got traded, so those 60 don't even really work there. So if we're talking about guys that really played, Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, Asur Thompson, and Jaden Ivey, that's 5 guys right there, played 60 games. Everybody else 40, 130. Then we're in the 20s. Then we're in the teens. Then we're in the single digits. Like y'all just, there wasn't anything there. So, and I know it sounds like I may be making excuses for Monty, but I'm not making as many excuses as Paul George. I want to start off with Pandemic P.
Oh no.
Talking about the seasoness and how things went.
About it was, we started the year off rolling. We started the year off hot. Everybody was playing well. There was energy there that it was kind of like first time of us all being healthy with Russ now. Like it was like the emergence of what it's like being with Russ now, with myself healthy, Kawhi healthy, and Russ full time here. So it was kind of like a fresh start of what we thought could work. And then we traded to get James, and it's not James' fault of why I think we struggled, but right. I think the lost part of that was that we lost Rocco, we lost Nico.
Right.
Those was our glue guys. Like that was our defenders. And we play small, so they had the length to help us play small.
Right.
So again, it had nothing to do with losing or grabbing James. It was more so losing those guys, KJ Martin as well. Like that was our energy, our young legs. So I think that's kind of where, you get to late in the year and, we just weren't as good as we could have been. I think losing those guys kind of hurt us. You know what I mean? Because like Rocco was huge for us. Nico was huge for us. go get rebounds. They would block shot, you know, rotate. They were defensive guys. So you plug those guys around myself, Kawhi, Russ, like, you know, they did a lot of the dirty work. And now you grab you know, James, who's a super talented offensively.
Exactly.
Now myself, Kawhi, like we become the dirty guys. And now we have to score too. And it was just, you know, I think a lot that we were.
I'm sorry, bro. Who does he think Robert Covington is in 2024, bro? Oh my god.
Stop, bro. Is that the full? That the full clip?
Let's see a little bit more. Let's see what he says.
Trying to balance and manage at that point.
Fair shake.
But again, had nothing to do with James. James, I thought, was awesome for us. One of the best passers I played with, one of the best playmakers. The way he just sees the floor and can take care of the ball, not even just the passes he make, but just his ball security. It's just impressive for how much, you know, he's in pick and rolls and in tight spaces. And, you know, especially this part of his stage of his career, being older and having young guards trying to pick him up.
Now, the reason why that is so interesting is a tweet that says, it's fitting that we just watched Tatum and Brown win a title while not once complaining about doing the dirty work, picking up the best player on the other side, winning contested rebounds versus bigs, and making the right play on O. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Why that is interesting is because he's a free agent. He is a free agent. He's, you know, lobbying himself for a team, and it sounds like he has a problem with doing the dirty work. They also wanted to point out Jimmy Butler, somebody else who, when not scoring, can do the dirty work, as Paul George would call it. So what are y'all sentiments on Paul George basically telling on himself?
First of all, Sage is frozen. I don't know if you can hear us, but I did see someone talk about how, like, Paul George's tendencies in 2024, like, he settles way too much for jump shots. Like, he doesn't even try to drive to the rim anymore. He just, hey, he's tween hezzy cross. He's that guy, and he's like embraced it. So I do think, I mean, Paul George is being realistic with who he is at this point in his career. I don't even think he's a 2 anymore, bro. I think he's closer to Zach LaVine than, I don't know, JT. Is that crazy? Maybe not. I don't know. That may be a hot take.
Small forward Zach LaVine? No, I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, just the premise of him being a third option. I think that's his best utilization right now, like a Chris Middleton role. As far as that clip though, it was just funny because what it sounded like to me was like Giannis being on a podcast talking about, man, it wasn't like the problem wasn't bringing on Dame, it was losing Drew. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really why we failed. That's what it was given, but nah, there's a bunch of other factors as to why y'all failed. And it's not just losing Robert Covington and KJ Martin. Like, I don't know why you didn't talk about the elephant in the room, Kawhi. If we're holding motherfuckers accountable now and talking about why the season really failed, for the 4th year in a row, your best player wasn't there to close out the season.
Well, they kind of talked about Kawhi because when he went on the not countdown, but the halftime show of the NBA Finals.
Oh, he did it in a different clip. Okay.
Stephen A. brought it up. I'm not gonna play the clip, but Stephen A. had brought it up, and Kawhi was like, Paul George was like, nah, don't do my man Kawhi like that. So then when I listened to the full podcast, he was like, yeah, I really wasn't feeling that. Like, Stephen A. trying to put it on Kawhi as if, you know, he doesn't want to play or whatever the case may be. But Kawhi definitely does want to play. I want to, because Sage heard all that, I want to bring this to Sage's attention. This is on that same podcast. Paul George is not looking to chase a championship in free agency. I mean, at this point, it's not even about like people saying chasing a championship. Like, it's not that. But it's playing the right style of basketball is what I'm chasing. So if you couple that quote with the clip that you just heard about it, you know, him being tasked with doing the dirty work, how do you feel about Paul George now?
I don't feel about Paul George. I mean, look, I ain't gonna lie. Maybe Robert Covington and KJ McDaniels or whatever, KJ Daniels, whoever it was. I maybe those aren't the names, but I agree with the ideology. I can't have my takes on the Lakers and think that what he said was wrong. I just don't think it's fully honest. Elephant in the room is, Harden weren't hooping, Russ to a degree wasn't hooping, and Kawhi wasn't playing. So It's more than just some of the depth and role players that you lost there. Depth does play a factor, but come on, bro. In regards to wanting to play the right way, nigga wants a bag, and I'm for it. But I think there's also some truth there, and I go as far as to say that's probably the best thing for him to do instead of try to chase for a championship, because as we know, that leads to these trio super team light versions that go home in the second round or first round. I love, for example, Paul George to Indiana. I know that Seams had asked for a return, but I'm looking at that Indiana squad, and I think Paul George not only doesn't hinder anybody in terms of being a starting wing, but then he also plays perfectly with Tyrese. He would be a much, much, much needed defender on that squad. I've heard people throw around Philly as well, but I just don't want an older player in Philly anymore, because we don't need any more ifs about Philadelphia. But yeah, we don't need none of that shit in Philly. But like, that's what I'm saying. So I do love the mindset that he's having, and really both of his takes. I just think they're not the full truth. I think that he wants money and he's not holding the starters accountable.
Yeah, I don't know. He's Paul George and Kyrie. Paul George, Kyrie is like a very good comp for me. Cool kids stylistically from a basketball perspective, but when it's time to really shine, when it's time to really give some substance, just can't find them. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the three games to end the series. What is this, game 4, something like that, game 5? Paul George, 33 points, 11 for 19, 7 for 10 from the field. All right, that's perfectly fine. Now this is 3-2, so I guess this is game 6. Paul George, 4 for 13 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, 15 points. He had 11 boards though, but not great shooting. And then this is the elimination game here. Paul George, 6 for 18 from the field, 33%, 2 for 10 from the 3-point line, 18 points, 11 boards, 5 assists. You can be real with yourself. Like, you're not a dirty work guy. Like, you are a hooper. You are, if I don't have to focus on rebounds, then I am who I am. I know somebody didn't say that last stat line was a good stat line. If you're not a rebounding guy, if you're not a playmaking guy, you are who you are. That's fine. We're definitely moving into an era in the NBA though where, like, if I just seen guys be versatile, where Jaylen Brown can go off and also be a good defender and also be a rebounder and also make plays. I would say about Jason Tatum, but yeah, Jason Tatum can give me my 35, 40 rebound, all that stuff like that. From a wing player, that's what I would like to see. But the problem is you just don't want to be that. So I just don't feel like I should be overpaying for you.
Yeah, his contract is going to be weird because he's going to have fan pressure and attention of, oh shit, Paul George. But reality is Paul George doesn't need to be in a situation where he needs to be playing like his contract likely will be. He doesn't need to be playing like he's a supermax guy. And not that he's not at a supermax level, but Paul George needs to like embrace a role. And he's not, and if that role is just buckets, fine, but he damn well ain't winning no championship. That role needs to be like 3-and-D plus ish, but as a second scoring option. Not, yeah, I think that's the best case. Yeah, a 3-and-D player as a clear cut number 2, not on some like Kawhi shit where, yeah, Kawhi's better, but some nights it's Paul George's night. Nah, it needs to be, yo, X player is better than you, and he's going to get the ball a lot more than you. But hey, PG, go get yours too.
If y'all get the chance,
Philly to me.
If y'all get the chance, y'all should listen to the entirety of that podcast, because he's giving subtle sneak disses the whole podcast, that whole right there. It's not James. But we did have to do this to get James, and we did have to do that to get James. We had to do this to get James. We had to do that. But it's not James. It's not James. I promise you, it's not James. And then the whole
security.
Yeah, and then the whole. I mean, it's. I don't want a championship at this point, but there's a style of basketball that I'm chasing. That I'm just, you
don't have it in LA type.
But it's not James. It's not James. It's not James. And then he was like, they asked him about, is basketball better in a system Or is it better if it's just, ISO, watch a guy, and then get the ball or whatever? Him. I'm not gonna lie. A system is like the best place. I love a system. Like, you cut and you're gonna get the ball. Like, kind of like when I was with Russ in OKC. I looked at. I was like, all right, bro. All right.
Or that time in Indiana.
Yeah, or that time in Indiana. Really.
Just not now. Just not.
I really think he wants to go back to Indy, bro. If the finances made sense, bro.
James. Come on, bro. All right. You gotta stop.
I want to see him go back to Indy if that's possible. I don't think so, but
he might get the ball more. I don't know. I think it's hard to realize that the writing is on the wall, and that like it's not your day, especially when you have successful days. Because I think Paul George is a cool regular season guy. Like, cool regular season guy. It's just clear to me that like the league has figured you out, and you're 34. I mean,
I disagree. I don't know. I think Kawhi's left him hanging a lot in these playoffs, bro. And he's been put in situations where he needs to be a first option when, again, I think for the last 3 years, he's been even realistic with himself, talking about like, yeah, Kawhi, look, yeah, it's his team. Well, he's not there. Now I got to step up. Like, I don't even think Kawhi, PG wants to be that number one. It's just next man up type shit. So
yeah,
he really hasn't gotten his fair shake, man. I don't know.
He's 30. He's 34. He's 34.
I think for me, but SOLZ is on to something though, because I'll say this: we have normalized getting that Woj text in the playoffs about Kawhi not being there. We pretty much like known it's a thing. So the Clippers will be poised, look good, whoop whoop, and then oh shit, Kawhi is out. All right, first option PG again. So and then we already identified that. Yo, he can get boards. He can pass, but that ain't who he is. That's not the forte. And if you got Paul George doing all that, something's wrong in your franchise. So, yeah, I see what SOLZ mean. I probably even just straight up agree with him.
Put it this way. Like, let's say the Celtics, for the last 4 or 5 years, JT just gets injured in the playoffs. Jaylen Brown has to step up and beat him number one. But they keep on getting bounced out in the first or second round. JB is having bad closeout games. He's shooting 7 of 22. I understand those are bad numbers, but at some point it's like, damn, this wasn't how we've been practicing all season. This isn't my responsibility. Now I'm getting criticized for like doing something that I'm not even trained to do. So
only thing I will give Omar there to be somewhat fair, he's been a number one before. So it's nothing new to the nigga. It's just, yeah, he ain't that no more.
He's not number one, which is going to lead me to my hot take of the week. We let you slide, buddy. We let you slide, Mr. Gila. The Paul George of point guards. Paul George of shooting guards, I guess. Yeah, I was right in my take all along. Kyrie Irving was not Jalen Brunson. He is not Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is better than Kyrie Irving. I hate the fact that we let that just slide in the finals because he was underperforming a lot. I'm seeing it even being rewritten in real time, only a couple of days removed from the finals. But yeah, I know. It looks like it worked out just fine. Yeah, I guess it did. I mean, if we're a results-based type of people, but Kyrie Irving was baked. I think Jalen Brunson would have fared better if they would have went to the finals. Not necessarily saying Dallas would have just straight up won because they had Jalen Brunson, but I think Jalen Brunson would have performed much better.
Yeah, style of play, I have to agree that Jalen Brunson would have done better because Jalen Brunson has I don't want to say more methodical game. It doesn't get damn near more methodical than Kyrie Irving's game, but his game isn't based around strictly tween shot creation. It's kind of like playing into the Celtics' hands.
Damn. You gotta cook, chat.
Grippy.
I will say this. I would like to see that Dallas Mavericks team, or not necessarily but would the series have been different if, there weren't some fuck Kyrie chance in the building and, their second option, having the fans in his head? I don't know, bro. Because they wouldn't have been saying fuck Brunson. So
they wouldn't.
Do you think that the Celtics really got into the Celtics fans really got into Kyrie's head? Because that has been a talking point.
To be honest with you, not really. I think that, I mean, he's discovered. Like, he was just discovered. Like how to guard Kyrie. The Celtics figured out probably the best way to do it, and I think it is actually easier than people thought it would be. And I don't think he could do some of the things that Brunson could do. Brunson would have probably, made it really hard for y'all to defend with his mid-range game, where I don't think Kyrie could.
I think Brunson would have been a better facilitator than Kyrie. I think that would have actually been the differentiating factor. But the mid-range and the three-point shooting, I still think that's
well. But when I say mid-range, I just mean truly getting into the mid-range. And since that is a threat, it would have opened up for the passes and things like that.
I feel it.
I also think Brunson is better with physicality than Kyrie in terms of not being a better bucket when someone's getting physical with you potentially, but literally move, nigga. I'm going to score the ball. I think that's what you have to do to beat the Boston Celtics, and that's never been Kyrie's game. He's more of a creator. Brunson can be like damn near a bulldozer at point guard.
I seen Brunson look like point guard Julius Randle this past playoff, and I was like, man, I don't know. That's like a top 5 player to me. God, please, nobody take that seriously. Sage.
I thought about doubling down. on the take, but nah, I'm gonna go somewhere different. We were talking about a SOLZ and Sage video, and not to spoil the video, but I'm gonna give you another spoiler. Wemby was a huge topic of discussion. Wemby going to jump another tier next year. That's gonna be that might seem cold unless you guys are going too early, but I think Wemby is going to get scary good. I think Wemby is going to be unbelievably good. There's some stat my friend was talking about, and I forgot, and he's a fucking liar, so he could have made the shit up. But apparently, like, Wemby is like already on a minutes restriction. We all know that shit, right? But apparently when Wemby does play 35 minutes, oh, shit's crazy. like apparently anytime Wemby actually fucking plays, it's fucking over. Like, he said the stats were like unbelievably 2K good. And I was like, I mean, I see it. I see that shit. Was I sitting there watching every Spurs game? Hell no, especially when they're clearly tanking and Wemby's on a minutes restriction. But I think that and maybe it's not the hottest thing for me to say, but I think Wemby is going to like take a jump next season. I think they're going to greatly benefit off of picks 7 and 11, or is it 7 and 4? 7-11?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but they have two. I think the 2 lottery picks are going to help out big time. I think they're going to actually make the right moves in free agency. Shout out to the Spurs for unironically having 2 great guards that would play well with Wemby today and not having either of them in Derek White and DeJounte Murray. But hey, you win some, you lose some. I think the Spurs are going to be on timing, and maybe I guess the hotter take is Spurs playing next year.
I thought that was this year, man. Damn.
Jalen Brunson, 36, 5, and 9 in the first round versus the Sixers. Bezos. I love that kid. Love him.
Maybe I'll regret saying this in the future, man, but I think after every single finals, we just look at certain teams and say, man, the future's bright for them. But Dallas's future, I don't think it's as bright as some of y'all think.
Oh my God. Why?
I just it's not Luka. Let me just say that. It's not Luka. It's not Derek Lively. I just think for the style of play that they're going to continue to run with Luka, which is a heliocentric style offense, I think that second dude, which may be me just admitting to the fact that Omar was right about the JB take, Kyrie's 32. I don't know how is it going to be an easy way to find a replacement for Kyrie if he starts slipping next year in terms of production? I just don't know. And in terms of this team being back in the finals, in the next 2 to 3 years, I just think some of those teams in the West are loading the fuck up. Specifically, and we'll probably talk about it in this podcast, OKC. I don't know what's the pathway for the Dallas Mavericks unless they get, I don't know, a LeBron this offseason to really compete for the next 3 to 4 years to get back to the finals more than once.
Well, you gave me a, I guess, better hot take, even though I think I just didn't deliver my Wemby hot take well enough. But I guess this is a scorcher. Kyrie's replaceable, gang. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Me personally, I think it's very replaceable. I think if Kyrie's ever getting old, okay, a smaller guard that can get a bucket, or perhaps a taller guard that can get a bucket, let alone a taller defensive wing, I think that is not hard in 2024, 5, 6, 7, where everyone can do everything, where everyone's skilled, everyone can do this, that, and the third. I do not think it's hard to get somebody maybe not as skilled as Kyrie Irving, but someone who can be as productive as Kyrie is for this Mavs team. I don't think that's
Kyrie
hard
for Zach LaVine straight up. Who says no? No, I do. I would actually disagree. And again, I think that they just had the right guy in their lap. Was going to play for them.
Nah, the Brunson fuck up is there.
Isaac Okoro, by the way, that he just gave that shoulder to. I don't know.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying, yeah, Brunson will just forearm your ass.
Yeah.
So I just don't. I don't know. Plus the other thing is when we talk about the dollars and cents implications of things, because Brunson would have been playing for Brunson was asking for a Scottie Pippen deal. I don't know if niggas know that. Brunson was asking for like 50 million total or some shit like that. Like he was asking for some bullshit. Some bullshit ass deal. He was like, I'll just take 50 mil total. 4 or 5 years, 50 mil total. $10 million for Jalen Brunson. What? And so then with that being said, because they still have holes, I think PJ was a good step forward from, Dodo and Spencer Dinwiddie and, changing up what they do with Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell and all them stuff. I don't think he's the end all be all. I think that, Daniel Gafford is good, but I don't think he's the end all be all. I think that they did find Derrick Jones Jr. I think he was a good step up from where they were, but he's not the end all be all. So, right. They have steps up here on this side to do, but it makes it harder because you do have a Kyrie Irving to figure out as well.
I think this is what I'm ultimately saying. I'm looking at his contract situation. He just finished 23-24. He's locked in for 25. He's locked in for 26 as a player option in 27. In the next 2 years, if I were to bet money, I would bet money on the Dallas Mavericks not making it back to the finals and Luka leaving than this team being back to the finals again in the next 2 to 3 years. And Dallas being this team that has Dallas being one of these like future perennial contenders in the league. I don't know. Maybe it's hate. No.
Yeah, I don't think it's hate. I mean, you're on a winner's high and you just beat them soundly, so fair enough. But I don't think it's hate, but I do think it's like
he sucked.
Yes, oh my God. But I do think it's not 100% honest though, in the sense that, like, for example, let's really break down what the Dallas Mavericks have and what they're missing going forward in terms of a young core, even the championship core. They have the superstar, Luka Doncic. You're not saying it. If anyone else is saying it, hey, good for you. You're an idiot. Luka's fine. They have a front court for the future. They deadass have at least 3 players in the front court where I'm like, oh yeah, they're good for like 4 years straight. And Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford to a degree, because sometimes he can get wonky. I think he can improve as a player. And PJ Washington.
I disagree.
Which one? You don't think
PJ?
PJ can go to the wing. Maybe you get a more not more physical. That's not the word I'm looking for. Fuck it, a fatter 4, like a bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Like, my thing is again, and I'm judging basketball differently because we are better. We should be better. What's his game like putting it on the floor?
PJ Washington?
And his consistency with shooting the basketball.
Yeah, maybe it's because of by design of what Dallas has done and what Boston did, which is take away the corner. For those that don't recognize that shit, dog, that nigga can't shoot from the wing. So for me, maybe that was a matter of reps or something like that. But I'm thinking going forward, every player I just named is also going to improve. I think PJ Washington can get better. Maybe not shot creation wise. And if that's a problem, hey, there we go. But I think you and Damo had an argument about him doing a floater or something. So maybe he does need to add more to him. But in terms of Gafford, Lively, Luka, I think they're all going to continue to get better. I think that PJ, I believe in him enough, maybe not to guard literal small forwards as Cardiac was getting to, but perhaps be somebody that can play at a smaller position. So offensively, you can go bigger. because the one thing the Dallas Mavericks are probably going to need to do is be a little bit more on the physical side. If Luka Doncic is never going to be this world-class athlete, if you're going to have Kyrie Irving for the foreseeable future, you're going to need at least some advantage in the physical department against most teams. And I think that's going to have to be a strength thing, to be honest.
Would you sign PG? And we'll go on after this. Would y'all sign PG if you were Dallas?
PJ,
PG.
Paul George.
PG. Oh, Paul George. I thought you were speaking.
I would.
I mean, hypothetically, yeah, he would fit like a glove, but how much?
All of the money.
Shit. I'm about to say, hypothetically, he fits like a glove. My issue with Paul George there is it going to ruin Kyrie? I think that answer is no. Is it going to hold Luka? It better not. You're gone. So, hypothetically, he makes a ton of sense. It's just, I don't think they can, and I don't think they got the...
They need more people that can put the ball on the floor, bro.
Yeah, because that bench is bad, man.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If Paul George ever bought into like, yo, man, I could be the perfect 3-and-D and just shake it up or putting the ball off.
Yep. 3-and-D with some bop in it. That's what I want Paul George to be. 3-and-D with some bop in it. I know that sounds dangerously similar to what he is.
Season, though. I don't know.
But as a number 2 and then a number 1. I want to see him either be a clear-cut 2, not a 1A, 1B thing, a clear-cut 2, or even a 3.
I think for the Clippers this season, now again, like what you're saying, for some nights PG was their best player, but like I think James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, from who controls the offense standpoint, they were the 1 and 2, and PG was the guy coming off the pin downs.
Harden was a playmaker. I don't know how to score. Harden was the playmaker, though. I see what you're saying.
Speaking of off-season moves with money, we as well have to make some off-season moves with our monies. And the best way for me to know to do that is through our friends Prize Picks.
Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring this podcast. Let's Keep It a Buck's favorite way to play daily fantasy sports. We are going to show you guys how to make a lineup on their app/website, which you can sign up with the links down below. Omar, please share your screen, man.
Let me tell y'all something, man. It is a free cheese weekend. We're getting into the stuff that I know best about. Atlanta's banged up. They're also pretty wonky. Indiana is on a roll. They are a 90-point per game scoring team. I can guarantee you that. They have 3 potential 20-point per game scorers on their team. So, with that being said, I'm up on everything that they do, pal. Aaliyah Boston, 15.5. I need that.
Kelsey Mitchell's a bucket, man. Can't lie.
Yeah, Kelsey Mitchell. I'll step back. I need that. Ryan Howard's down 2. I need that. Caitlin Clark, 16.5 assists. I need that. And just because I got to go with somebody on the other team, Alicia Gray, 4.5 rebounds. I'm going less. Now, I feel this is a no-doy type of move. I'm putting in 250 to win. I'm going to hit submit, and that's how simple it is.
I like this. I like this one. I like that out of you.
Oh, my goodness. And thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. If you guys use code LKIAB, you guys can get a 100% deposit match of up to $100. That's, once again, code LKIAB. Links to everything will be in the description down below. Sign up with our links down below. And we'll catch you on the next one. All right, thanks for Prize Picks for sponsoring this one. Please.
Thank you, Prize Picks.
Hey, I have a question. It has nothing to do with anything we talked about, but I forgot I wrote this down in my notes. This is like not my friend's hot take. I guess it could be qualified as a hot take. But we were talking Pistons earlier. He got the Pistons in this league. He made the craziest trade. He traded Cade for like Derek Lively and someone else. Like, I forgot who the fuck it was. And I was like, you're drunk as fuck. It was Lively and someone else in Dallas that is worth something. I forgot.
Jaden Hardy?
Yes. Hardy and someone else. And I was like, what the fuck? Why would you do that, man? And he was like, bro, they got to start that shit over from scratch. Do you think the Pistons should just give up on Cade Cunningham, or is he fucking drunk? I just want opinions of you all in chat. I think he's an idiot, but hey, you never know.
Nah, when we were talking about Chicago blowing up in the season, I was like, yeah, let's start over. Trade Kobe White, too. In hindsight, you didn't need to trade Kobe White. Yeah, you can keep going. You can keep Cade. You can keep Cade.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you could tank with Cade, man. And Cade could be the 1 or the 2. Hell, he tall as shit. He might be the 3 one day. Just chill with that nigga.
Let's talk about dumb off-season moves, because that's honestly we're going in that direction. First, we got to start with the draft, though. Atlanta can't make up their minds.
Guys. No way.
Yeah, I know.
I don't
Nobody's
know if Atlanta can't make up their minds. Someone has.
Who?
Mr. Sarr doesn't want to work out for them, man.
Yeah. The Atlanta Hawks have been unable to bring in Alex Sarr for a workout, and Donovan Clingan is a real candidate to go number 1 per draft experts. The Hawks have been able to bring in Sarr. Clingan appears to be Ricochet's main rival at number 1.
Oh my God.
Now to me, this just, lets me know everything that I thought. These kids don't care about some of the stuff the older players cared about. It's a different game. They're trying to make a smart decision. And I don't necessarily blame them. I wouldn't want to play for an Atlanta, to be honest with you. I would not want to play for Detroit. I have no problem with that. And we're going to bring on a draft expert on the podcast real soon, but I wouldn't want to play for these weak ass franchises. I don't care who they got. Trae Young. I don't care nothing about that.
I got a question though. Is that a bad thing? Is this because we talked about player empowerment and player movement sometimes getting out the way? I ain't gonna lie. One of those people could easily have a damn good argument that, now niggas is out of high school and college saying, I'm not doing shit before they even in the league, before they even get paid. Is that too far or not?
I personally don't think so, because I believe kids are smart enough. Plus they pay people to be talented enough and smart enough to make or suggest the best things for them. And if you just lay out the decision-making from Atlanta, what's been going on, who's putting in the most money into their teams and their facilities and stuff like that, you can make a decision. I think because we're in the NBA, it looks totally different. But let's take it to WNBA just for perspective's sake. On one side, the Aces, they're getting the Las Vegas team $100,000 sponsorships from the city of Las Vegas. They had some of the charter stuff before anybody. They sold out every single game for their home games, even the ones in the bigger arenas. Most importantly, one of the teams with the newest facilities, both game day and they have an actual practice facility. There's teams in the WNBA that still don't have a practice facility. All right, you got a chance to get drafted here because they got the 5th pick or whatever. You just need to slide to 5. Number 1 is Chicago. You have no training facility. You have no locker room. You're playing with a dusty ball. What would you do if you was the best player, if you was the Wemby of the women's game?
Nah, I heard that. And I think for me, I was playing devil's advocate there because at the end of the day, I'm the main person to tell you, people don't got to like shit. So you don't like Atlanta for whatever reason, you don't like it. You ain't trying to work out for them. Now, Atlanta can fully tell you, wham, we're picking Sarr. Atlanta can 100% do that. And I'll go as far as say, should do that. And worst case, deal with what happens then. But nah, I have no real issue with Sarr not doing that. I do think it's funny that someone in the chat said it best. I do think it's funny he worked with the Wizards. I thought the guy that said he worked with the Wizards was lying when he said he won't work with Atlanta. That's why I went, oh, that's true. So I think that's funny. But outside of that, man, I mean, maybe he wants to be the face of DC, but you don't really care about being pick 1. I don't know how that works. But I don't really have an issue with it. I think that's a wake-up call for you, gang. Niggas don't care about the city. Niggas don't care about the culture. They're trying to hoop. these niggas trying to hoop, man. And I love that that's where the players' mindsets are. Maybe they've always been there, but hey, I'm grown. I know these things now. I didn't know these things when I was 12.
Yeah, I think another case of more smoke for front offices in 2024 and 2025, man. Like, I don't even think the city is the problem. I think from a talent perspective, if you're a big man and you have a chance to play with Trae Young, I don't even think that's a problem. But it's the trust in the organization to develop you properly and surround you with the right pieces that I think he has a problem with. I think even in last year's draft, The fact that, Wemby really wanted to go to the Spurs instead of the Portland Trail Blazers or the Charlotte Hornets, I think that's another telling of, front offices matter the most now to a lot of these young draft prospects. So, we're moving into a new era.
And I would also say, and I'm pretty sure this didn't happen, this is why they're making this decision. Remember, Alex Sarr played in OTE for about a year last year. Not this past season, but I think the year before. Yeah. Okay, you had a whole year to come and look at me. If you didn't, that's on you, gang. I lived in Atlanta. I was playing a full season there. You could have came, watched me, worked me, all this stuff like that. Wasn't nobody stopping y'all from coming to overtime, the arena, or whatever. They let Omar in. Y'all could have definitely been in here. So if y'all didn't, that just says to me, because it's not like we don't know this stuff. We know who's going to be the number one projected pick next year, the year after, and the year after. It's not like he was some secret. Oh, shit, who's Alex Sarr? No, they knew. So you didn't come and see me then? Oh, I damn sure don't think you're doing your due diligence. I don't want to be with y'all.
Yeah, I think and for anybody who would bring up, I've been reading chat too much today, but if anybody would bring up that they were a playoff team, shit, fuck that. Do your homework, gang. I think the Lakers should have had Sarr scouted in case, because you never know. We talk about teams hitting buttons and teams tanking. Shit, you better know how good the number one player in the draft is. The fuck? Yeah, all right, do your homework. Your homework.
That's on y'all. But just speaking of dumb off-season decisions, we have other breaking news. Actually, let's do draft. Let's continue down the draft. Because Sarr did not work out, we're talking about players who did and did not work out. It's actually been reported that Bronny James did do his 2 workouts. He did them for the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns.
That was old news, right?
You said what?
Wasn't that old news? Like you already talked about?
Now, this is what Rich Paul is confirming, though, is that it has nothing to do with LeBron James. This is just by design. He says, and I quote, I don't care about him going to the Lakers or Phoenix or about what number he gets picked. It's about fit. LeBron is off this idea of having to play with Bronny. If he does, he does. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. There's no deal made that it's guaranteed that if the Lakers draft Bronny at 55, LeBron will re-sign. If that was the case, I would force them to take him at 17. And last thing,
so there are like that.
There are other teams that love Bronny. For example, Minnesota, Dallas, Toronto. If it's not the Lakers, it will be somebody else. Now this should be
Bill Simmons take.
Yeah, Bill Simmons said he would love. This is Bill Simmons. Here's my case. Everybody says this draft sucks. The Celtics are so deep. Anyone in this draft isn't going to play for them. Why not take Bronny and you can basically hold him hostage? Because all these other teams want him, right? The Lakers, you want him. Well, we took Bronny. Give us Max Christie. How bad do you want him? I would say Bronny, the asset at 30 as a trade thing, is worth more than anyone could get here. Is Bronny's value increasing? Not because of his play, but as his trade ability now?
Nah. Hey, Braun. Hey, GMs.
We're not slow.
Nah, they're not fooling us with that one. That's funny, but I don't think anybody wants him that bad to the point where they're going to trade a proven young talent or even a veteran player for Bronny just for a clickbait. As far as the Lakers
Max Christie, though?
But as far as the Lakers getting Bronny for Max Christie, even, that would be the cherry on that would be my true test of if I want to quit being a Lakers fan. I ain't gonna lie. Because another hype beast move, LeBron James's kid. Oh my God. And he's more than that. He's a grown man. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect, but like in terms of what the Lakers would be doing, it's getting LeBron's kid. And that's, oh my God. So for me, Bronny's stock shouldn't be that high in the sense of there's a lot of question marks about his game. He has some attributes apparently that are pretty good in terms of being a potential good defender. And then if he gets a shot, then there you go. That's 2020 basketball right there. But please not the Lakers. I ain't gonna lie.
If I'm the Lakers and I'm trying to be a hype beast, I'm trying to be a hype beast.
I don't want to be a hype beast.
Don't be a half-ass hype beast now. I think that's lame.
This is a fake Supreme. don't have a usp.
Come on, bro.
I agree with Sage though. Like nobody's falling for this ruse. Come on, gang. This is all show. This is your pony. Your smoking mirrors. Your pony show. Niggas don't want Bronny for real. Not this much. Not this much, bro. I don't know.
I just hope he's doing it for himself. That's the only thing obviously it's his life, but he's doing it for himself, not to fulfill his dad's dreams or I don't know, bro. Because again, being the man in USC for a couple years, if he stayed there, would have been fun if I was him.
What was that LeBron resign quote exactly? Something along the lines of he would if he was 100% staying there, he would force them to draft him at 17 or some shit like that.
Yeah. LeBron would have resigned and he would have forced them to draft him.
That if anything's more interesting, maybe because I am a Lakers fan, if LeBron ain't all in, that changes a lot how I feel about this team overnight. The one, I ain't mad at JJ no more. All right, bro, fuck it.
I don't think he's all in, Sage. I really think you can just. There's been too many whispers and all that stuff. He's not all in.
Yeah, if LeBron's out.
Yeah, LeBron is.
And I'm with Damo here because Damo's been saying it, but like with a much more powerful and damn near negative connotation. But if LeBron already 1 foot out the door, I'm not even on some weird Lakers shit. This is just my rule as a GM. Hey, fuck out of here. Like, get out. That's me with everything. You already 1 foot out, nigga. Get out. And at that point, I'm not mad at a lot of shit then. I'm not mad at all the Lakers we re-signed. I'm not mad at the hiring. A lot of shit changes then.
I'm not gonna lie though. Speaking on that, me Sage were talking about it earlier. I think we should look more at rankings instead of like who's the most talented when healthy. And instead of talking about that conversation, we should just talk about like who do you want on your team? Because if I'm a GM and my best player is 39 years old talking like this, not giving me a point of stability as a front office, there's a bunch of other players who may not be as talented as him right now, doesn't have all the advanced analytics that LeBron got, but if they're 90% the talent that he is, but they can provide me with much more stability, they're going to be healthier, they're going to be around for much longer, like, who cares if LeBron's better right now? I don't know.
See, that was actually going to be one of my talking points. Who in the NBA are we still waiting for? Brian Windhorst brought up a decent point. I think it was yesterday night at midnight or the night before, the night after the finals or whatever. They could have started signing people. So if Paul George was in on the Clippers, he would have signed.
Fantastic.
If LeBron would have signed, or if he was in on the Lakers, he would have signed. Everything that you need to know is already established. What is he waiting on? If there was going to be free agent moves that they needed to make to solidify LeBron staying, I think they would have already had those in play. Like if LeBron was waiting for Paul George to sign over in order for him to re-sign, that would the wheels would have already been greased. Yeah. And the same thing with the head coaching thing. It wasn't like no secret. That was already there. So at that point, I agree with y'all. It seems like nothing that, like, you knew everything. You already knew what was going to happen. It seems like you just don't like it. So with that being said, you got to go. You got to go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And I know some people don't like LeBron as a Laker as time continues because, as what you and SOLZ have mentioned, for me, he's definitely still LeBron James. He saved us from being really exposed as a poverty franchise for like a decade ago. But I don't know, man. Like these last couple of seasons, Bron, what's going on, gang? I ain't gonna cap.
I see the people saying it's different for people with player and team options and stuff like that. That has nothing to do with verbal commitments.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah, it's a tweet. And maybe it's because he's LeBron James, keep trending yang. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, no, LeBron could just tweet, LOL, y'all think I'm leaving? And it's over.
Nation.
Yeah.
They not like us.
Oh, behold, like that'll really do it. Oh yeah, he's staying.
Yeah, he didn't even get on stage.
Go ahead, Bron.
Now we analyzing why LeBron didn't get on stage.
Bro, I seen a tweet saying this Savannah right now. Bron, you are from Akron. You're a family man. Do not get on that stage.
Yeah, we was cutting up. He was cutting up watching that shit in the party. Yeah, and we were talking about LeBron not getting on stage too. Omar, I heard you say that. We were talking about why the fuck did LeBron ain't get on stage? Fuck it. And then we was like, well, he ain't really LA for real, and you don't know what that reaction gonna be. Is it gonna be like, oh yeah, the face of the Lakers, or is it gonna be like, oh, this guy, he ain't even signed? So yeah, it probably wouldn't make sense not get on there.
It's cool, man. He's not Jerry West. He's not really for the Lakers. Speaking about other moves though, because again, the offseason has started, and it's starting with kind of a banger here. Hold on now.
Now this is an interesting move, ladies and gentlemen.
Adrian Wojnarowski reports Sham's been mighty quiet. The Chicago Bulls are trading two-time all-defensive guard Alex Caruso to the Oklahoma City Thunder for guard Josh Giddey. The trade delivers the Thunder one of the league's most coveted role players, a 30-year-old guard who GM Sam Presti has long pursued for the Western Conference's #1 seed. Caruso's arrival could be seen as an addition comparable to the Golden State Warriors' acquisition of Andre Iguodala in 2013. Both were 30 years old. Then he continues on. The Bulls have been determined to find a playmaker to replace Lonzo Ball, and Giddey, 21, comes with an all-star potential that would unlikely be realized with the Thunder because of the playmaking star power who surrounded him. The Bulls will offer him an opportunity to have the ball in his hands and so much more freedom to pass and score. I don't know.
Bring on MONTY, man.
Your tweet?
Yeah, man. It's going to be Josh Giddey in Chicago, man.
Who the fuck is Josh Giddey? That's the.
You ain't see my tweet?
I got you. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Come on, man. Josh Giddey with a green light.
Vsauce tweets out, this is Josh Giddey with the green light next season.
And you expect me to think that you don't dislike Luka Doncic so you're not on the winner's high. This is what I'm talking about, man. Something like he at some point, I'm seeing a dog waddle, quack, no bark, and he's telling me that he's still a dog. Man, SOLZ, what's up, bro? What is this? What's going on, bro? What's going on?
I'm off the Luka super fan. No, let me say that.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
no.
Let me tell you something. We're not changing out a password around here.
Nah,
That's fine.
Nothing going on. Anyway,
my passes are changing.
Anyway, Luka fandom is crazy. All right, go ahead.
Anywho, because this is ridiculous. For me, Josh Giddey for Caruso. I'll start off with the character in the trade that I don't give a fuck about. If they see all-star potential in him, fine. If you think that's the solution for Zoe, I guess that someone makes sense. I do agree with the statement that he was never going to be optimized in OKC. It's just, hey, one basketball, bro. And most importantly, I just think you could have got more earlier, or just in general. Caruso's still probably worth a couple first and some other role players, but hey, you know what? You made a move. Chicago's poverty franchise. We're talking about the Thunder. I love this move. Hey, man, Derek White is definitely a better player right now, but put it this way. You got Derek White off of a shit team, and you put him on a team like OKC, nigga. Like Caruso, essentially, I give Derek White the shooting edge for sure. Again, he's a better player, but you got an all-NBA defender, shoot the three, play make for your team. He's more athletic than Derek White. Alex Caruso will get up there if he has to. I love the move. I love the move for OKC, and it's also not like getting a Paul George where you're going too far. And they didn't even have to give up much. So I fuck with it.
I like it as well. I think this is their I know Sage brought up Derek White, but I think this is actually closer to the Celtics getting Drew Holiday. That's like right. having that veteran piece to take him over the hump with championship experience. I think that's exactly what Alex Caruso is for this team. And I'm not gonna lie, man. Offseason only started. OKC looking dangerous next season, man. My biggest concern with them is just the progression of J-Dub and Chet catching up with how good Shea is right now. Because I think the biggest example of that not working for a team is actually the Cleveland Cavaliers over these last couple of years. I think Donovan Mitchell right now is ready to win. Like his production right now is a 30-point per game scorer, all-NBA dude, arguably best shooting guard in the league type of production. But Darius Garland just hasn't caught up with the train. Evan Mobley hasn't caught up with the train. And I think in these last playoffs, I think that's the reason why they lost. SGA was ready, but J-Dub, not there yet.
Yep.
Chet, just not there yet. So hopefully those two specifically can catch up sooner rather than later. I'm going to give them 2 years. I'm going to give them 2 years. If they don't catch up next season to as much as they should be, I'm still going to look at them and say, yo, Chet's only in his second season in the league. J-Dub would be in his third. They're still, like, extremely young. But by the time Chet is in his third, really fourth, because he missed his first full season, and J-Dub is in his fourth, now it's like, all right, bro. It's time to win.
Type shit. Yeah, I see where you're coming from there, and they're gonna call you a madman for it because Chet is such a hype guy, and J-Dub's such a hype guy, and you could argue the continuity point with
that was Darius Garland and Evan Mobley.
Yeah, yeah, you can argue continuity as well, but I think an outlying factor is SGA is that damn good. So like, hey, shit, don't troll the man. But I think OKC is in like such a dream world scenario. Unironically, a big man. I don't know if the Wizards have another one in them, but if they had like a Daniel Gafford kind of guy, I don't even think Gafford's fantastic, but like lively hypothetically, they just get a big man that
people
can
been throwing around
Hartenstein.
Hartenstein. If they can get Hartenstein, bro, they're broken.
Yeah,
I feel like getting an adult on this team was important.
Yeah.
They tried it with Hayward, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, an adult that didn't like minors. But I also, because to me, I didn't get from this to be excited about OKC. They were good. No, I'm not worried about that. Every team should be knocking on Chicago's door.
Yeah.
Every team. I think the writing on the wall is there for LAVINE for them. Because again, he would be another one who's like, you know what? Niggas don't really care about me. I'm bullshit. I'm not really like that. I'm Bradley Beal 2.0, just lighter skinned. Right. Probably should look at another place to be. Chicago. What's going on with Kobe White? What's going on with Patrick Williams?
They should say no deal for Kobe, by the way.
Well, hey, we need a ball handler, playmaker to play alongside Lonzo Ball. Yeah, when and if he gets healthy. All right, that's perfectly fine, gang. Thought it was in Kobe White. I guess it's not. Chicago. What's going on with Kobe White? He is a perfect guy. That guard that's just sitting behind, waiting to get a chance. They keep disrespecting. Okay, cool. Well, somebody needs to go grab a Kobe White, a Patrick Williams. Some of these guys need to just go ahead and come up off this team.
Yeah,
really.
That was his last season. So
there's a lot of players, and some of the names y'all gonna laugh at, and I'm ready to take the punches. Who cares? But I'm looking at this Bulls roster, kind of like the Pistons, except they're old. But like on a separate team in a proper role, a lot of these players I think would be good. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Kobe White. I know Vucevic as a starting center is a disaster, but I don't think he's not an NBA player. I think Vuce can play. I don't think they should trade any of their young guards, by the way. And I fuck his name up all the time. Is it A or Io? Yeah. I think him and Kobe should stay, but they'll probably get moved because the Bulls are stupid. Alex Caruso was traded. Patrick Williams, I don't think he's untouchable anymore. Andre Drummond, even to a degree, has a role on some teams back up big. So
no cap Sage. Vucevic is a poor man's Al Horford. That's what
real poor man's Al Horford, but yeah,
that's what the streets have been saying.
Oh, bro, poor man's Al Horford.
Have we ever had an official recorded ratings conversation? I saw SOLZ's video about it, and I had some smoke for it, just a little bit, just a small amount.
Player ratings conversation?
No. Television.
Ratings.
Oh, we did, but we didn't have the full stats.
It didn't go up. We had the conversation on the other platform, but
should we get into the viewership conversation?
There's a lot of topics we kind of ducking right now.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
we haven't really talked about the Celtics winning, but it's cool, bro. It's cool.
I've been said start the pod off with the Celtics winning, but y'all chose Lakers. But
because mind you, when the night that we talked about the Celtics winning, you I'm ready to go celebrate. Damn, we didn't even get into Jalen Brown winning the title. I'll let you take it away though. SOLZ, take it away.
Yeah,
the Celtics. Listen, man, we're the champs, man. Yes, sir. I think a lot of questions were answered in these playoffs so far, for better or for worse. For my player ranking guys out there, that's all y'all care about. JT still is in top 5. Congratulations. All right. But yeah, I think the big question for me is, are you gonna be able to win with the core around JT and JB? That shit was answered, man. It's an astounding yes. Woo! All these dumbass takes y'all had about whoever comes out the West, that road to the finals doesn't matter. Whoever comes out the West dogging y'all. Yeah, I retweeted all those takes that I saw on the timeline. I went on a retweeting spree of my receipts. Y'all sound dumb as fuck. All those conversations about, the Celtics, they're not battle tested yet. You know, they're not battle tested going into those finals. Those are some dumbass takes as well. The whole, they're not blowing out, they're not sweeping teams and only beating them in 5 games. That's a red flag that they're even giving up one. Dumb as fuck. And then when y'all weren't getting the blowouts and y'all were actually getting the close wins, but these games shouldn't be close. So when there was a blowout, now was no comp, and that's a problem too. Now they're not battle tested. But when the games were close, now it's a problem too. I don't know what y'all want. At every single turn, the Boston Celtics answered everyone's doubt, answered everyone's questions outside of Jason Tatum's inefficiencies. That still was not answered. But yeah, man. I love it, man. The 16-year curse has been broken. I will be there at the parade tomorrow to celebrate. And I'm going to make sure to cry a little bit too, knowing that Jason Tatum is not top 10, because that's really going to bother me tomorrow. So,
yeah, for me, I mean, celebration don't hit when they were already up 3-0, and we already had a pod talking about that, essentially harping home that they won. So, I mean, they officially won, so it's official now. You know me, my glorious king has fallen, but the Luka hate raid is corny. I'm probably just it what happens when you lose. So fair enough. It's nothing that I'm going to say is truly undeserved, but do I think it's corny? Hell yeah. I don't know how.
Did you see LaShawn McCoy's take about it?
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy doesn't think he's an all-star. I thank you for name dropping. I was gonna say, yeah, I don't even think he's an all-star. Like this Luka 180 is corny, especially because I'm 90% sure I heard LaShawn McCoy pick the Mavs. So what the fuck you picked the Mavs for Kyrie? Yeah, that shit is so corny, bro. But, you know, again, it happens when you lose. Same thing with Anthony Edwards. It happens when you lose. I just think the NBA has a weird culture of building players up to tear them down. But besides that, back to the Boston Celtics. I mean, certain negative questions were answered for Boston haters like myself. Jason Tatum may not even be top 10. Fuck him, right? But at the end of the day, that Boston Celtics team was built fantastically. This, I think, is another point. Really, the last 4 champions outside of maybe the Warriors have shown that front office is the meta, because when I've looked at the last 4 champions, I've said, oh, this might be the deepest squads in the league, and every time they win. So, yeah, I think it's not the biggest surprise in the world. My glorious king couldn't solo squad Kyrie Irving and the Boston Celtics, but it is what it is.
My only thing is, and mind you, the win was the win. I truly don't care. I had no dog in the fight. I said that before. We talked about it ad nauseum, I thought, at least. Maybe not enough for Vsauce's liking. But there were some key takeaways, bigger than basketball takeaways, but still kind of some basketball takeaways. Right. I saw the LaShawn McCoy clip, and I just didn't understand, and still don't understand, why do we have to talk about basketball in this fashion? This is the stuff that makes the ratings what the ratings are. Like, right? Like when people are asking what the fuck is going on with the ratings, what the fuck is going on with X, Y, and Z, it's because we're sitting here and we have
players.
LaShawn McCoy doing stuff like this after a loss.
Luka is the worst all-star I've ever seen in my life. He can score the ball, he can pass the ball, he can rebound, all that. He has no effort on defense. He don't want to play defense. He don't hustle for no loose balls. He don't hustle for no loose rebounds. I watched Drew Holiday about 3 to 4 times get extra rebounds when he's guarding. I'm like, yo, he don't try. Yo, I watched Luka because like Kyrie deserves, but we don't give Luka no blame for nothing. Luka gets a lot. I watched Luka. I guess I don't know if he got injured or what, or fouled. He's laying on the ground. Yeah. The ball's going this way. He's still there. They scored it, and now he's still just getting up. Anybody else you watch, when they get on the ground, they get their butts up and get on defense. He has no type of urgency of playing solid basketball. And I will not let my son, right, that wants to be a basketball player, I mean, he wants to, but I will not let him watch this tape because I don't want you to learn from a superstar like that. No hustle, no attitude, no care.
LaShawn McCoy,
How Luka doesn't care about basketball?
You are a literal 5'1" meatball. Okay, no, you saying, first of all, your son having any hopes to play NBA basketball is crazy.
Damn.
But also the fact that you won't let your son watch, I don't know how old his son is, but the best offensive talent of his lifetime, you won't let your son watch that is in fucking insane. And so then it also extends. I was listening to the Paul George podcast, and his co-host Dallas Rutherford is his name, my bad. He said something along the lines too of, I don't even think Luka is a top 5 player, or no, my bad, not top 5, top 10 player in the league.
So corny, bro.
Saying stuff like that.
Top 5.
Top 10,
dog. Not even 5.
Outside of top 3 is crazy, but
yeah, this is corny.
He asked Paul George this silly ass question.
I had a conversation with a buddy the other day, and he was asking me if I thought Luka was a top 10 NBA player. And I was thinking about it, and I'm curious what your thoughts are, but I would say he's not, just because of that defensive liability.
Mm-hmm. My problem to that is it's hard to play both ends, and I don't think guys get enough credit. Like, you're going to have to sacrifice. As good as he is offensively, it's a reason why he's half-assing on defense, because it's hard to do that for a whole game.
Yeah, I don't know. So, like, okay, question. Would you, if you were building a team, would you rather take Drew Holiday or Luka?
What the fuck?
Win.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
haven't seen
and this is no knock to Drew Holiday, but
no, I'm just asking. Like, you would take the
bigger
offense.
I'm gonna take the bigger talent.
Okay.
And hold him to be a better defender.
No, not to Luka, but Drew, I got you, but I'm taking.
Now that's funny because you're sitting in Paul George's face. Who this is that same episode. This is why you have to listen to these players' podcasts. And I will say I was wrong with some of the stuff they said about LeBron James and all this when they create these podcasts. Some of them use it as a way to give excuses and use their voice. Some of them use it to give good analysis or breakdowns. Some of them use it as their voice. It's the same podcast where Paul George is making the excuses about doing the dirty work and doing the offensive stuff. So he's telling Dallas, yo, it's hard to do both things at once. Something's going to sacrifice on one end. Dallas, why don't you bring it up with Paul George? You sat there and you let him talk about James Harden that whole time, or not having Rocco, et cetera, et cetera. You didn't talk about how your guy was lacking at some point in the basketball game when he had to do both. Why didn't you ask about that? But all in all, we don't have to have basketball conversations like this. We just don't. We truly just don't. There's a better way of doing these things, and I think these things affect the ratings of these fucking basketball games.
The NBA is the most brain dead sport in a while. The same friend that made that crazy K trade, I called him an idiot for the trade. He knows I actually respect his opinions on certain matters. He's just extremely biased at times. He had a point that, yo, the NBA, I don't give a fuck what the ratings are this year before that. NBA has been the most cooked league that I watch, because he watches several sports in a long time, because every time you turn it on, someone's dunking on someone for no fucking reason. Like Celtics win, in 20 minutes of a segment will just be, yeah, that Luka guy, awful. But then game 1 and 2, yo, that Kyrie guy, awful. And like, if a player underperforms, we can talk about it, we can criticize all the other shit. Nobody's saying have a soft ass league with soft ass narratives all the time. But what I am saying is every conversation doesn't have to be at the expense of someone all the fucking time. Like, we could talk about what Luka needs to improve to become a better championship caliber player. We don't need to go, yeah, man, I don't even think he's top 10. Yeah, man, my son wouldn't watch Luka. And then how the fuck you get lazy out of the guy that y'all gaslight? I mean, I don't even think gaslight, to be fair, he does do this. Crybaby. How is he a crybaby that doesn't care? Like, you know, when babies cry, it's because they care too much about something that they probably have no business giving a fuck about, or they need to burp. It's one of the two. So, like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. It's just so fucking stupid.
I'll give Nick Wright this credit when it comes, because when he was defending LeBron a couple years back, I think he really hit it right on the nail. There does come a point in a player's career where I legitimately think the media penalizes you for making it deeper in the playoffs than not.
Yeah.
Because I swear to God, if Luka and the Mavs got bounced out in the first round by the Clippers, we would not be having these conversations about his defense. We would not, people would not be sitting on podcasts talking about, I'd rather have Drew Holiday than Luka Doncic if he got eliminated in the first round. But because he kept making it deeper into the playoffs and he was on the biggest stage, and the focus in the NBA world was just the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics for 2 weeks, now we're having these conversations. It's whack. And I think that's not just a Luka thing, that's a Boston Celtics thing as well. I swear to God, for a conversation standpoint, when it comes to the JT and JB discussion, I swear to God, we wouldn't be as harsh on them if for the last, 5-6 years, they didn't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals last season. They may have made it to the NBA Finals in 22, that's fine, but, they shouldn't have made it in 2020 in the Eastern Conference Finals. They should have made it in 2018. So, it's ass backwards to me, and like what Omar said, I do think this is a contributing factor as to why ratings are down, is because y'all keep on downplaying these teams, y'all keep on downplaying these players, and once they get to the biggest stage and prove y'all wrong, now all the hype, now it's just straight criticism. I'm not excited to watch them play anymore because y'all told me the whole fucking season, this dude's ass, Luka doesn't play defense, Kyrie's a fucking fraud, Derek Lively can't shoot, like all of these different things. What is there to be excited about by the time we get to the biggest stage? All these motherfuckers are ass.
Yeah, I'd say to add on, like, let's take a couple of random sports per se. Soccer. I don't know 5 things about soccer, but I do know that soccer fans will tell you any motherfucker's a dog that can have their day. Boxing, UFC. Oh my God, that may be the worst example if we're comparing to the NBA in the sense of anybody will tell you, hey, I'm just saying, hey, McGregor might be a better fighter than player X, but if player X hit that left hook, shit. So we could go to baseball. Baseball has endless names in the verse. I learn of a new name every day about somebody being one of the greatest of all time or some shit like that. Football, yes, even fucking football at quarterback alone, and quarterback's the closest thing to the NBA. Somehow they have more appreciation for those quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson is one of the most respected names. I hate on him because I'm a Steeler, but Lamar Jackson is one of the most respected names. Buddy can go to the Super Bowl. Buddy can go be a first-round exit. He's respected like shit. Patrick Mahomes respected like hell. Nick, whenever Patrick Mahomes loses, we don't go, oh, he was a fraud all along. No, we go, oh my God, Joe Burrow, what the fuck? But in this scenario, I don't know. And for the people that are about to type Lamar is disrespected,
You know why Lamar's disrespected. Like, I'm talking about the sport.
like we don't have to play obtuse, my nigga. We know why the fuck Lamar is disrespected, bro.
I just hate to keep reiterating this stuff, but these are the reasons why the media is cooked. This is the reason why the sports media is done for. I think I saw a tweet about, it's the Stanley Cup Finals, NHL Finals, and just the way that they're covering it, the way that they're talking about it, really the lack of talking about it. And I also was doing some research. This was like a thing from the mid-90s about how the NHL was at a certain point in time more respected than the NBA, or than the NBA and the NBA Finals. I'm like, damn, this is prime Michael Jordan, but also this is Wayne Gretzky, so like it was just a different time. But when you have bozos running around like this,
love seeing that elation. All hard work paid off. See, it's not a microwave society, folks. That's the oven. 7 years. What? It's just for the kids out there.
Take some time. Take some time. Let it grow.
Let it marinate. Grow through it. Yeah.
Why are y'all two looking at me?
No, we're just telling folks out there.
Maybe I'm scared.
Telling folks out there. Takes time.
Please.
Takes time.
The time that
Stay
I put in,
committed.
the time that I
No one's
put in,
looking at you. This isn't
since
about
were
you.
born,
It is,
probably.
oh my gosh. It's like you're so vain. You think this song's about you. No one's talking about you. I'm talking to my friends at home. And now I'm talking to Drea.
When it comes to first take, everything's
And really just talking to
Wait, what?
He said,
What?
when it comes to first take, everything's about me. This is a guy that wants $20 million, by the way,
Hey man,
from ESPN.
Hey man, some niggas would argue that he ain't wrong. It's so crazy to say though, bro. I don't know. I mean, y'all know me. Sometimes we have our milestone episodes, milestone whatever, and talked our shit. But even on those episodes, I want to say I'm more of the count your blessings and be humble, because that shit could get snatched from you. He's definitely been on a tirade lately of just like dragging his nuts on the table, and I don't know. That's just never been my style, because at some point you get cooked. Every now and then you got to pop out and show niggas, but then for the most part, stay humble, bro.
Well, let me finish up my finals analysis. Last thing I wanted to say, because we're really not going to go into the ratings thing. I'll save that for a playback debate stream. The Boston Celtics showed the NBA world how to build a team. Not even the NBA world, but the basketball world, how to build a team. 1 through 5. 1 through 5. This is everybody has the ability to put it on the floor. Simple as that. Period. Point blank. Put it on the floor. Ability to shoot it and ability to create for others. Switch on defense. All that stuff. So I think no matter the type of basketball, whatever, that's what people should be striving for. And I think we'll quickly see a shift. Now, trying to get that 5 and 4, of course, that's going to be the hardest thing, but they're out there.
I would take it even further, like the concept of delegation, because we were even talking about it with other franchises. Like, and Coach Joe Mazzulla said it, I think, after we won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, like the biggest blessing he got with this team is a bunch of players that allow him to be a coach. Like, we have these conversations about other players in terms of them controlling how to coach the team and all of that. Like, people are locked into their job. Brad Stevens is the basketball operations guy. He's locked in there. Hell, even it goes to like even the social media team. I don't know if y'all seen the Celtics media team. Them boys are locked the fuck in. But you know, Joe Mazzulla is allowed to coach the way he's supposed to. He's allowed to coach the way that he wants to, and he has a group of guys that just buys in. And I think that's understated in terms of how these other stars talk about their own franchises. Like, all these dudes just buy into the system. And also, shout out to the front office and the coach as well, because we're seeing all of these front offices really show their ass. And also with coaching firings, if y'all want to give, it's on some like the respect should be as loud as the disrespect. Like, y'all have been disrespecting a lot of these coaches. Joe Mazzulla was a part of that disrespect. So now that he proved y'all wrong after year 2 getting it done, nah, man, he needs his respect. The email conversations, shut them hoes up, please.
Joe, another coach that had more than one season, but y'all think firing a proven coach like Monty made sense. But you know what, man, I ain't gonna lie. We got a lot of shit to talk about in the offseason. Let's not burn through everything today, because woo, the fun part of being an NBA YouTuber has begun.
Let's do this last one, because I know Cruz and the gang really put this one together. Michael Fraudulent Jordan. It's starting to unravel. The tape is starting to peel off.
And so at the end of those 5 games, Vinny, there were 23 steals in the box score in those 5 games for Michael Jordan. And by watching the game independently, the scorekeeper and I, we saw 8 steals for Michael Jordan in those 5 games, 1.6 per game. And that is 15 fewer than the box score said he had. And so at the end of the
2024, people have eyeballs, people have televisions, people have YouTube. That was Tom Haberstroth, and he is deep dive into Michael Jordan. A deep dive into Michael Jordan's record-breaking 87-88 season reveals numerous statistical and video red flags. Michael Jordan recorded the largest home/road splits in Defensive Player of the Year history, ranking the home versus road split difference on combined blocks and steals, stocks, for every NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Stocks are scaled on a per 36-minute basis to control for playing time. Michael Jordan.
He's already made up.
Oh my gosh. Michael Jordan, home stocks, 5.5. His road stocks, 3. That is a 182% difference. Ben Wallace is the lowest on that list, 4.73 and 3.6. I mean, is there validity to this?
It's not invalid, but it is hating. I will say that it is just hating. I ain't gonna lie.
What the fuck were y'all doing, man?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The finals were on?
Yeah, during the NBA finals, someone said, nah, I got smoke for Jeffrey. Something's off here. Riddle me this. It's hate. Is it completely invalidated? No, there's probably some levels of truth to it. And I do like that NBA fans are actually going back and watching the games. This is what we've asked for. But at the end of the day, there's some hating that shit. Some hating that shit. It doesn't make me view Michael Jordan any differently, though. No.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had the conversations about like John Stockton having his differential too, right? In assists on the pod before.
Yeah.
So there are other stories. It doesn't seem like it's just a Michael Jordan thing. But hey, if the NBA was gassing up these players and literally lying about their stats to build up their legacies, Adam, step your game up, gang. Step your game up.
That's funny but true. Yeah, fuck it.
Maybe
start having more 30-point per game scores, dude.
It gets nasty. Nick Wright unearthed there was a game they credited Jordan with more steals than the other team had turnovers.
More steals than turnovers, which is literally impossible.
Tom says during one of the 88 games in Chicago, there were 3 live ball turnovers committed by Atlanta, but Michael Jordan had 4 steals in the box score.
Maybe they didn't count that. Maybe they didn't count one of the loose balls as a turnover. I think that's more likely, but either way, funny as hell.
Tom has published some of these things in video format for people out there to watch. Listen, at 27, if I still believe in the Tooth Fairy gang, I don't care if it's real or not. Well, I guess wrestling. I don't care if wrestling's real or not, bro. I'm here to be entertained. So
why 27?
Because I'm 27.
Oh.
Yeah, at 27, let me watch wrestling in peace. What they be saying, Little Caesars is so much better when a bitch ass nigga ain't in your ear telling you that it's nasty. All right, I ain't gonna lie. The Bo Jackson stories are so much better.
About Chuck E. Cheese pizza, man.
Yeah, without a bitch ass nigga telling you Bo Jackson couldn't really get up a wall. I'm like, Bo Jackson really never ran up a wall. Okay, bro, I don't care about that. I don't care if Wilt never picked up a boat with one hand. I don't care, bro. That's what they told me. That's what I'm telling my kids. And I'm just running with. I don't care about all that. So I'm sorry. From a LeBron fan, I'm sorry, gang. I don't care.
It's like growing up with the Mamba mentality and then learning that Kobe quit one day. It's just like, well,
learning that son story. I don't care that he didn't shoot the shots.
Don't care.
Come on, bro. I have selective hearing. I do
NBA
not.
Marketing is so ass, bro.
No, but seriously, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, seriously, we are going back to hate on Michael Jordan. We're not going back to highlight something that he could do. The outcry of he doesn't have a left, we done with the 90s was much louder than what the fuck he can go left. It was much louder, man. Negativity sticks out like a sore thumb. Obviously, we do that with comment, tell even chat. But man,
no, because even like current social media teams, bro. And I'm sorry, man. It's my week to gawk them pause. But the difference between the social media of the Celtics compared to everyone else, bro. Why isn't that standard for every single NBA team? Have y'all seen the Brooklyn Nets TikTok, bro?
No.
It's literally just a random dude doing like the filters and like just making memes on the account.
Damn,
it's actually hella crazy compared to like the Celtics doing like damn near like short films out there, bro.
But they and a lot of people will say that for the WNBA too. Like you can notice when teams put money into stuff and teams don't put money into stuff. So in the WNBA they had one marketer last year and now they got 25, and you can see the difference visibly.
Yeah,
I think they said that y'all have a 10,
17,
15, something like that. 17 team staff just to do y'all's content on socials, and it looks like that. And when the video comes out of the finals run, I'm ready to look for it.
But I'm saying that should be a part of like the NBA's expenses. That shouldn't be a team wide thing. That shouldn't be a something decided by the team, in my opinion.
Put it this way, and I had this. I've seen a video where someone talked about it. Oh, you about to pull up a clip? My bad. Oops.
This is
Their TikTok is crazy. Look at it.
Yeah. The meme junk. Yeah, they be trolling over there.
Click on the Dorian Finney-Smith one because that one was actually a relatively serious one, bro. This is them trying.
Dorian Finney-Smith proved himself to be one of the league's most versatile forwards in 2024.
This is them
in
trying.
In fact, his year started by playing center after Nick Claxton went down with an early injury, but Dorian excelled as a small ball 5. His 3-point shooting was real.
This looked like a funky diabetic video. This is them regularly.
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Yeah, you can take that shit off my screen. I'm good, bro. Because what the fuck was that? But nah, it's kind of like, and you know, it's weird, and it's gonna sound like I'm trying to give us a scapegoat of potentially even being negative, but like with the NBA, man, us being on YouTube, let alone the people that are watching this YouTube, I want y'all to understand we're the nerds. We're the losers that decided that we care about basketball so much so that we got to go on YouTube instead of watching the mainstream TV product and shit like that. The poison is that the mainstream TV product themselves will sit there and do shit like, I saw that social media take. Yo, can Michael Jordan really go left? All right, bro. Like, come on, bro. What are we doing? This shit's cooked.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
he's on fire.
This has been another lovely episode of the Let's Keep It Up podcast. I loved it. This was lovely.
That was fun,
we will see you guys later. Be so say goodbye to the people.
Peace out, y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Any of the Boston Let's Keep It a Buckers in the building, I will be there tomorrow at 11 a.m. Yeah, man. We'll be at the parade, man. We'll be at the parade.
You send me an invite. No.
No. Hey, say goodbye to the people, man.
All right, people. For me, all shit aside, congrats to the Boston Celtics at the end of the day. But stop. But chill on Luka hate, ladies and gentlemen. Not that even on some Glorious King shit. Y'all are just getting over the top corny. If you want to be like B-Souls, have a couple of random hate takes here and there, fine. Can't make you think things. But top 10, unwatchable. My kids can't watch. Y'all are corny. And then in terms of TSL, you already know we got to talk about the personal shit, man. We're 2K away. I don't know how we gonna celebrate, but hey, I'm just gonna keep praying. I'm gonna say that whenever it's time, it's time. 2000. So you guys wanted a 24-hour stream. I'm scared, but it's gonna happen if we get there. Take care and stay blessed. I'll see you all next time.
All right. 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink. Shouts out to my nigga Cameron Brink. Take care, stay blessed. Bye, guys.
Can't wait for the Chopper Bench tour.